Today on Mr. Media, I'll finally stop dreaming of Jeannie and start talking to her as actress Barbara Eden joins me to talk about her career and new book, Jeannie Out of the Bottle. Stick around. I'm going to escape this crazy bottle, even if I have to bare my hairy midriff, cross my pale white arms, blink my green eyes, and nod my bare head forward seductively. So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is a Mr. Media interview. You know, MrMedia.com, MRmedia.com. Stop by and check it out. There are more than 900 archived celebrity and pop culture interviews for your listening pleasure. Mr. Media is recorded live before a studio audience of former NASA astronauts, male and female, who signed up for space travel because it seemed like the best way to meet Barbara Eden in the new media capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. Barbara Eden. In a moment, I'm going to be talking to Jeannie, the character who bedeviled Dr. Alfred Bellows, the innocently seductive soul who tamed Bachelor for Life, Major Anthony Nelson, and the absolutely stunning real-life woman who helped a lot of young men meet puberty head-on. Raquel Welch last fall, Barbara Eden today. My inner teen wants to know what took so long. This really is a treat. I watched I Dream of Jeannie with my parents when it was still on network TV, then rewatched the episodes a few hundred more times over the ensuing decades. And then came the day when I rediscovered it with my daughter Rachel, introducing a new generation to the wonders of bottled blondes with magical powers and evil twin sisters. Barbara is here today because she recently published her autobiography, Jeannie Out of the Bottle. It's available in great bookstores everywhere or right now online at MrMedia.com. Now, she probably doesn't know this, but two previous Mr. Media interviews presaged her appearance. The first was with Larry Thomas, best known for playing the soup Nazi on Seinfeld. A few years back, he talked to me about what a wonderful actress and human being Barbara was when they appeared together doing live theater in the female version of The Odd Couple. Second was when I introduced her proud niece, Catherine Fugé, the creator of the Lifetime network show Army Wives. Catherine said during that show, "You should have my Aunt Barbara as a guest." As you wish, mistress. Barbara Eden, welcome to Mr. Media.
Thank you, Mr. Media.
Very nice to have you here today, and I got to start by asking you this question. It may seem crazy, but Dr. Bellows seemed to spend all of his time trying to cure Major Nelson, and of what, I'll never know. Jeannie had them both running in circles. Now, do you think that poor doctor wound up needing a psychiatrist himself?
He probably did. Actually, Hayden Rourke played the psychiatrist, and he was a lovely, lovely man, just a good friend of mine, and I miss him. I miss him a lot. But I think he was convinced that Larry was bonkers.
Oh, that Larry was.
Well, my master.
Oh, okay.
Not Larry, Tony.
So that was going to open up a whole new line of questions. So we're not going to go there now.
No.
One of the things that really, I think, marked that show for audiences was that the four of you, yourself, obviously, Larry Hagman, Bill Daly, and Hayden Rourke, were so convincing as those characters. It's not like you would tune in and you go, "Oh yeah, they're playing a role." I mean, you really bought that after a while.
Oh, well, we believed it. It's easy if you believe.
Well, what's your, as you look back on that show, what is your fondest memory of Jeannie?
Well, I don't know. I had so many of them. The whole thing was a wonderful experience. I guess one of the memories that sticks out is, of course, the filming the pilot down at Zuma Beach, in California, in the winter, and it was cold. But I do watch that particular show, and it gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling.
That was an era of very that was the era that put the sit in sitcom. I mean, I Dream of Jeannie, Gilligan's Island, The Monkees, that other show with a witch. Was it, was it a special time, do you think, in terms of American television, or do you think it's no different than it was today?
Oh, I think it was quite a bit different, but I think every time is special. We're in a special time now. Every time is unique, and that just happened to be ours. And it also happened to be the time when people really wanted to watch comedy and family comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But every time is special.
You've done. I mentioned your niece Catherine earlier, and since I spoke to her, you've actually been on her show a few times. How different is it to tape a show today as opposed to when Jeannie was made? Can you see the differences?
Well, I don't. No, not really. The thing about Army Wives is that it's filmed all on location. So it's sort of like Route 66 was in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in a studio. It's you're you're a victim of the weather and the bugs, and the wind. But if you're in a studio, as I did the Hallmark movie, we were in the studio part of the time. On location a lot too, though, with the Hallmark movie. No, really, there is no difference. There's no difference. We shoot outside. That's the only difference.
Do you think today's casts are treated any better or any worse than you were in your time?
No, I don't think so. Do you? I mean, have people said that?
I have nothing to I have no way to gauge that. I don't know. I was just kind of
The
curious.
people that you talk to.
Yeah.
Know. I don't think so. I think it's the same.
Right. Well, let me come back to Jeannie for a minute, and then when we take a break, we'll come back and we'll talk about the book in particular. But tell me a little something about each of your co-stars, if you would, on Jeannie. Starting with Larry, and I gather you stayed in touch with him over the years. I know you appeared in Dallas at one time.
Oh yes, I was with Larry in Australia a few weeks ago.
Oh,
actually. So we've been together a lot lately. Yeah. He's fun. He's settled down a little. But he's still the wild and crazy and very smart man that he was. When Larry's around, it's always fun. He's always thinking of things, to do.
How's his health these days?
Wonderful.
Oh, good.
Absolutely wonderful. Never better, actually. I'm so pleased to report that.
Great. Very glad to hear that. And what about Bill Daly? What was he like?
Oh, Bill is still Bill. He's wonderful. He is a natural comedian. You never know what he's going to say or what's coming out of his mouth. Never. Mm-hmm. But I love him. I love him. He's fun. You just sit there and you wait, see what's Bill going to do next.
So he was that funny just to be with.
Oh yes. What you saw on the screen is Bill. That is Bill.
And then you mentioned that Hayden, you liked Hayden a lot.
I loved Hayden.
Yeah.
He was a true gentleman, a delightful man, and as I said, I miss him very much.
Now, I had asked you earlier about a like your fondest memory of Jeannie. What about something that, when the show ended, you were really glad to leave behind?
I can't say that I wanted to leave anything behind. I enjoyed it. I enjoy working, though, you see. I guess a lot of people would say they didn't like the early hours. They would like to leave that behind, or the long hours. But I like that. I felt quite productive. And, of course, it's fun to have a show that people like and enjoy.
What about the costume?
Yeah.
Was it?
I liked it.
Yeah?
It was pretty. It was pink.
Did it? I've got to ask. Did it change much when the show went from black and white to color?
I don't think so. We did a few changes over the years. We made a little bolero instead of the tight top. Not really. Not really. It was the same.
I have to tell you that I talked to my younger brother this morning, and he said, "What are you up to today?" I said, "Oh, I'm going to talk to Barbara Eden." He was like, "Oh my God, really? Oh my God, she was so hot." So I just want to share that with you. What was the? Do you remember? Was there ever an episode? And I mean, a lot of them were quite ridiculous, which is what made them fun. But was there ever an episode of the show that made you go, "Oh, come on, this is just too over the top. No one's going to buy this. This doesn't make sense."
No, because she's a genie. Everything she did was over the top. So,
that's
according to human standards, that is,
And now I don't want to give this away for anyone who somehow missed this near the end, but eventually Ginny and Tony get together, they get married, and a lot of shows today we hear about a couple that's been kind of flirting and back and forth for some time, that they're going to get married on the show or they're going to settle down. That kind of marks the end of the show. That was kind of planned, wasn't it? It wasn't. At that point, you pretty much knew that the show was going to wrap up in the near future.
No, we didn't. Actually,
really?
We didn't. No, not at all. But the minute we saw that script, we knew.
Oh.
Because that absolutely was the wrong thing for them to have done. First of all, she was an entity. She wasn't a human.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get married. It was ridiculous, and it was the whole crux of the story, was the fact that he knew she wasn't human,
mm-hmm.
and she felt that she was. And that's what made it funny. The minute it was "Honey, I'm Home," Little Housewife thing, I think was a very, very bad idea. And it proved to be so.
Oh, so wait a minute. Now we have to go back to my previous question about the most ridiculous episode. You just used the word ridiculous. You thought that was ridiculous.
Well, I thought it was mistaken. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
The show itself wasn't ridiculous.
No.
It was a fun show to play, actually. But it was mistaken.
Do you think the show, if they had not gotten married, do you think that audiences would have continued to buy it indefinitely, or was it just that?
Well, I don't know about indefinitely, but I think they would have continued to buy it. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's never been off the air now.
Isn't that amazing?
It's wonderful all over the world. It makes me feel very, very good. My husband and I like to travel, and it's fun to go to foreign countries and out of nowhere have someone ask, if I was a genie.
Does it ever?
Or Larry and I, when we were in Australia, we walked in to get our luggage when we arrived there on the carousels. They had a television screen up above, and we looked up, and there we were.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That I'm just thinking, if I'm at the airport and there's the two of you, I think I would just think I was losing my mind. It just wouldn't seem. How is it possible that all this time later? Oh my God! It's Barbara Eden and Larry. No, I must be dreaming. It must be, who would believe that? What they were seeing.
Oh, what was funny was seeing it up on screen, and there we were standing in the luggage carousel.
That's pretty strange. And did you have a favorite? Last question I'll ask you about the show. Did you have a favorite episode or a favorite guest star? There were always people popping up.
Oh, we had so many guest stars that were wonderful. Groucho Marx was wonderful. Milton Berle in Hawaii. He was in one of our Hawaii shows when we filmed there. Oh, God. Sammy Davis Jr. I can't even remember all of them. We had so many. And we had many, many wonderful character actors that I had seen in films over the years. They were friends of Sidney Sheldon's, and they would do a guest shot on the show, and that was fun. It was thrilling to see them.
Nice perk, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break. This is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to the Mr. Media interview with I Dream of Jeannie star Barbara Eden, whose new autobiography is Jeannie Out of the Bottle, and we'll be right back.
Pepsi Cola, it's a spot. 12 full ounces, that's a lot. Twice as much for a nickel, too. Pepsi Cola is the drink for you. Nickel, 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 nickel.
Hi, this is Raquel Welch. Yes, that Raquel. And I'd rather stick needles in my ears and listen to one more minute of Mr. Media Radio.
This is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to the Mr. Media interview with I Dream of Jeannie star Barbara Eden, whose new autobiography is Jeannie Out of the Bottle. Barbara, what were the biggest challenges to writing a book about your life?
Living your life over again. Once you've done it, and you don't really want to go back and visit the down parts. Every life is a roller coaster. You have ups and downs, and I just, I felt like been there, done that. Don't want to do it again, but I had to write the book.
Mm. Were there stories that you found yourself sharing that you didn't think you'd ever tell?
Yes, many.
What were the toughest?
Well, of course, it's you have to read the book, really.
Yeah.
But my son and his death, of course, was a biggie. Mm-hmm. The depression I went into after losing another baby. It's just a lot of stuff, But they're big parts of it that are happy, very, very happy. I know the reviewers said that, and lucky for me, it was a New York Times bestseller. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you knew that.
I did, actually.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. No, that's a big...
I was shocked.
That's a very big deal.
I was shocked. I'm so kind of proud of that.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't want to know something more about your life? We've known you. We feel like we've known you for so long. I mean that in a nice way, by the way.
Well, that's good. That's good. I wrote the book because I felt that it was time. People had been asking me to write one for the past 20 years, and I just couldn't do it. I felt it was intrusive, and I didn't want to share my life. But I felt that now, this was the time when I should. And also, lots of things that I have lived through, I thought perhaps other people might benefit by seeing how I dealt with it, when I was successful dealing with it and when I wasn't successful dealing with it.
Did the book cause you, as you were thinking about what to write and you were writing and then you go back and reread, did it cause you to reevaluate people or decisions or events in your life, and did your view of any of them evolve?
Well, I don't know if the view evolved. Naturally, you tend to question as you go back. It's not very healthy to question it because what's done is done, but you can't help but do that.
Hmm. Have you heard from any of the folks that were mentioned in the book that maybe you hadn't been in contact with in some time?
Oh, yes, I have. I have, and it's been fun. It's really been fun. One woman I haven't seen since school, at the school, Elizabeth Holloway School of the Theater, and we now we're online all the time.
You have to use online like the rest of us? You can't just blink your eyes and go to wherever she is?
Oh, well, I could do that, too. But, doing an advantage. If I have an advantage, I don't want to rub it in her face.
I see. Is one book, is it one book and out for you, or now that you've gotten started, will we hear from you again?
No, I don't think you'll hear from me again. I've only had one life.
And we talked about you've done some episodes of Army Wives. You did the Hallmark. Do you have other stuff coming up?
I don't right at the moment. this year has been totally dedicated to the book, and talking to people, lovely people like you. And it's been fun. It's been fun, but takes a lot of your time, you know.
Mm.
I had a wonderful time the other day, actually. I had a book signing in a library, and so many people showed up, and they bought books for the library and for themselves, but they also, there were many people that had been my neighbors when Matthew was a little boy. Yeah, and it was just a lovely gathering and coming together of old friends that hadn't seen each other for years and years.
I can't say I'm surprised to hear that. I actually I make my living as a co-author of biographies and autobiographies, and it's never ceased to amaze me that when the book comes out, the people that my co-authors have seen or heard from after 20 or 30 or more years, it's amazing, and the great stories that you hear.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really am. I'm truly enjoying it. They're not, and people that aren't necessarily in the book, but they just know how to get in touch with me when I have a book signing. They're there, and I love it. I love it.
Wow. Well, I just had one more thing to ask you about, and I know you have to get going. There was a report last month that Columbia Pictures was talking to Katherine Hagel about relaunching I Dream of Jeannie as a movie franchise, and I got to ask, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's wonderful. I'm surprised it was Columbia. I think Sony owns the rights.
Isn't Columbia owned by Sony?
I don't know.
Oh.
I think, it's so complicated. Maybe they are. I'm shocked. Of course, we originally did I Dream of Jeannie with Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
And they had sold their stuff to Sony and MGM. I guess it's just really all mixed up now, isn't it? All these production companies.
I'm sure it
old
is.
Studios.
But you're okay with the idea of a new life for the character?
Oh, I think it would be great. I think it would be great. I know Sony was planning on doing it like 5 years ago, and they stopped because Bewitched, the movie, didn't do well.
Mm-hmm.
And but quite frankly, I think it was because they didn't stay with the spirit of the show, the original show. They tried to be different and modern, and you can't do that.
Yeah, that was, it was a fun movie to watch if you didn't know anything about the Bewitched franchise. It was kind of interesting the way they mixed up reality and TV and had it all cross over. But if you had watched the show and then you were expecting just this bigger, broader version of Bewitched, you got something that was very different from that.
I think they tried too hard.
Yeah.
They tried too hard. All they had to do was make an entertaining film.
Right. Yeah, Nicole Kidman I thought was very good as Samantha, but the rest of it just, I don't know, it's just very weird.
Oh, yeah, the actors were fine. It's just the way they did it. It was just wrong.
Yes.
But...
and so let's wrap here. What advice would you have for Katherine Hagel or someone else who would, step into Jeannie's body?
Oh, I wouldn't presume to give any actress advice.
No?
No, I wouldn't. It's if they take on the role, it's the way they do it that's important, not the way I did it or how I felt about it. When I first started in my movie career, I was under contract to 20th Century Fox, and they put me in a television series called How to Marry a Millionaire, and I played Loco Jones. The part was played by Marilyn Monroe on film. But there is no way I could be Marilyn Monroe or even play the part like she did. I had to do it the way I saw it and the way I felt it. And it was quite successful. So I think anyone who plays Jeannie will have to do it their way and follow the script.
It's very kind of you to say that. Some people might not have put it quite so nicely. Don't do this. Don't, All right. Well, folks, listen, you can order beloved TV star Barbara Eden's new book, Jeannie out of the bottle in great bookstores everywhere, or order it right now at a great price at mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. Barbara, please tell your niece Catherine hello for us.
Oh, I will. She just got back from France with her little girl.
Oh, that sounds very nice.
Yeah.
She was a wonderful guest, and we appreciated that. And, geez, Barbara Eden, thank you so much for joining us on Mr. Media today.
My pleasure, Bob. I'm so happy to be here.
Same here. Thank you, and stay well, and hopefully maybe we'll have an excuse to bring you back again another time.
I hope so.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Barbara.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. For more original interviews, surf over to our main website, mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. If you've enjoyed today's show, subscribe for free to Mr. Media via email, RSS, or iTunes, and you'll never miss a show. Another good idea, download our new free Mr. Media mobile app in the Android market. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many parts of the Internet. Show your support of Mr. Media by supporting our sponsors, including Audible. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/radio. Again, that's audibletrial.com/radio for your free audiobook. We're also supported by thepartyauthority.us. Call DJ Ira for all your party entertainment needs nationwide at 1-800-DIAL-DJs, or visit their website, thepartyauthority.us. If you've got an idea for a guest, a comment on today's show, or would like to advertise on Mr. Media Radio, email me directly at bob@mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. You can also call our 24-hour listener line at 1-727-498-4711. Some messages may be used in an upcoming show, and unless you live next door to Mr. Media, there may be a toll charge. You can also follow Mr. Media on Facebook, Twitter, or our new YouTube and Vimeo video channels. Thanks so much for joining us today. I always appreciate you sharing a piece of your day with Mr. Media. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Brown from the Emmy Award-winning 30 Rock, and you know what? I wish I had 30 rocks to throw at Mr. Media's ass. Yeah!
Hey folks, you can hear Mr. Media while on the go now with Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher is a free news and talk mobile app available for your smartphone, whether you use an iPhone, iPod Touch, Android, BlackBerry Curve, or Palm Pre. And when you download Stitcher to hear Mr. Media today, you have a chance to win some real money. Downloading is quick and easy. Just find Stitcher in your smartphone's app store. Download it, it's free, takes seconds. Then, during registration, hit the promo code box and enter Mr. Media, that's MR Media, to get automatically entered to win $100. The latest episode of Mr. Media will be waiting for you in Stitcher's favorites right on your phone. You'll get access to lots of other amazing shows too, always available to you on demand, no syncing. Some of my favorites include WTF with Mark Maron, Plus One Per Diem with Kevin Smith, and The Nerdist with Chris Hardwick. It's all free and all instant to you on Stitcher Smart Radio. And don't forget to win the money. Enter promo code Mr. Media, MR Media, when you register. And thanks for listening.